looks like it's moving.
Yeah, it's moving. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's recording. Okay, cool. Yeah.
We're novices. It's
We
only
don't...
show number 100,843.
Yeah, 167. Yeah, look, I don't work the board, okay? So, stop it.
So, in case you all haven't noticed, the usual worker of the board could not be here tonight. He has taken an injury that I'm sure will come out in full detail.
Yeah, we'll hear about that.
He's
time.
okay.
I'll let him explain in his own words without much speculation. We'll just let that.
Let your imagination run wild.
But yes,
it did involve a bear, though. Injuries always involve a bear. The story's much better when you include a bear.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Do you get bears when you don't leave the house?
Yeah, it's Colorado.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can always have a bear.
Oh, that's true. They do come by and visit from time to time.
Yeah. And they cause ruckuses when you try and fight one-on-one. Oh, sorry, that's for another show.
Yeah, he can tell that story. That's totally up to him.
So, I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
And Pat is not here.
Nope, we've covered that.
So, this is coffee before bed.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Where do we start?
Start anywhere you want.
Are you going to pay attention to debates and all that are going on right now?
Nope.
Nope.
It doesn't interest me in the slightest.
No?
Not right now.
What? Not until they get narrowed down a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. There's, so, what with the people who aren't attending, what with the people that have to be weeded out before you can even talk about...
Is he people?
Who, Trump?
Yeah. Did you just qualify him as people?
No, I'm talking about the other, so 9 people are basically going to need to get scraped out of this before I even worry about this stuff.
They have 10 on there?
Something like that.
Or 8? One of the two.
It's a bunch.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
It's a bunch minus the front runner. So, I mean, that's...
Well, on the way over here, I could listen to a little bit. And the Ramaswamy fellow was throwing jabs at Pence and stuff, so...
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You can throw jabs at him all day long.
It sounded like they were having a little bit of name-calling fun between some of them, so...
What do you think of that guy?
I don't think he can win.
What about this just as a dude?
He sounds fun. I like that. It sounds like he's seriously just speaking what he thinks.
Truth to power, huh?
Yeah. They might not all be great ideas, but he's just winging it all out there. So, I mean, he literally on the way over said, "These guys are really calling for a little bit of change here and there. I'm going for a revolution." Like, revolution? I don't think you really want a revolution. Okay.
See, I don't know about that. I don't know. All right, so what with the turning over of the guys basically to Fulton County today, right? There is a certain part of me that is politically pissed off, right?
Okay.
This shit infuriates me to no business, right? And basically, the weaponization of the Department of Justice this is so disgusting. This is so deplorable in terms of politics that basically the escalation of this cannot lead to a good place.
Well, I also think part of it, Trump is kind of egging it on.
He is, but what's he supposed to do?
I don't know if they would have pushed so hard. I mean, sure, maybe. But I think he realizes that this is going to hands down win him the Republican nomination. So he's just totally basking in it. So he's not, I'm sure the lawyers probably could have worked some of these things out where it didn't get to this stage. And all this kind of stuff. But I think Trump has made it clear to his lawyers to let him do it.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is, I can't fault him for doing that, right? The honest on this is going to come from basically where the prosecution is coming from, right? And there's this part, and Pat and I have our disagreements on that, and that's totally fine. His take on this is that there's a couple of local morons essentially out there trying to make a name for themselves, doing this stuff on the circuit. I don't know. What I can say is certain things like, say, the trial date being set the day before Super Tuesday is clearly politically motivated, right?
True.
So, this is the thing where, like, all right, well, if it's not coordinated, then it's close enough for it to be a problem. The fact that people are doing this right now is, all right, so here's the question. All right, this is coming from independent places. This is not all federal shit, right? So does that mean that what we have next is we're going to have a series of lawsuits launched by basically Republican places?
I don't think so.
I don't want this kind of
No.
of
I honestly, I think
brinksmanship.
this is the strategy both sides wanted to play. I think Trump wanted this, and I think the Democrats want this. I think the Democrats want Trump to run, and Trump wants to run himself. And I think both sides are getting exactly what they want.
Well, okay, so to his credit in his strategy, so basically, and he has not changed his tone, and that's fine. So if his argument here is that 2020 was an illegitimate election, right? This does not defray any of that. As a matter of fact, it exacerbates it 100 times over to say, all right, well, if this was some kind of horse and pony show or dog and pony show, whatever kind of show it is that has a pony, right? Then this series of lawsuits is simply an extension of that. This is an extension of the railroading that took place 4 years ago. And I understand. It completely fits the narrative of before.
If anything, I don't think it's any. I don't know. He keeps wanting to go about that it was rigged or whatever. If anything, I'd be more mad that the Hunter stuff wasn't allowed to be brought.
Yeah,
wasn't allowed
absolutely.
to be brought to the surface.
Absolutely.
Handled with any integrity by the media. Like, I think just saying that thing would have swayed enough of a percentage for how close the election was, would have swayed things. So rather than saying, maybe these guys didn't count, or there were secret ballots, or there's all this, there's all that, there's all this, you have, like, it's out there. Hunter did this.
Oh, no, there's this clear collusion.
And the fact that it could probably ties into Sleepy Joe, you can use that as literal facts and take the whole conspiracy theory of all the election day stuff, just toss that aside and just say, hey, look, there was definite collusion with the media here. We got facts. These things are piling up. Like, that's where you can say the election was stolen, if you want to say stolen.
Well, you can say election interference, yes.
Election interference.
Yeah.
100%. So if
absolutely.
You want to go against that gives you clear things to actually pinpoint that people can see versus keep trying to say, this city had this and they were throwing this here and this here, but you haven't had legit proof of anything yet. Like, just stop it. Just let that go. You got real stuff that you can actually back behind.
No, I understand that. Okay, so there's two things on that. Number one, I agree with you completely, right? So, number one, okay, so only the New York Post stood their ground on this because it was broken to them, right? They're the ones that had that story break to them.
No.
And there is clear evidence of complete collusion in terms of media. So you can go down to, all right, this is the stuff that came out when, Elon Musk bought Twitter, and he showed them all the shit. And this is where the government was in contact, and this is where they were censoring all this shit. That's where it goes into that. That's where it goes into COVID. That's where it goes into, yes, you were having widespread, basically media blackouts of this to downplay it, right? Especially when it goes into the you can now go back on the statements, when they're on the debate floor, and now there's clear evidence that Biden is saying like, oh, I have anything to do with Ukraine. And actually, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
100%.
Yeah. And this is the part that gets to me is this is why traditional media, as far as I'm concerned, can fuck itself with the biggest, heaviest, nastiest stick on the planet. Because look, your job as media, okay, is look, any one of these things would be the biggest story on the planet, and 10 years ago it would have been, right? You are clearly playing partisan politics, right? The shit that happened in Maui, okay, that's something that if that happened in Trump's case, they would have raked his ass over the coals.
Yeah.
Raked his ass over
Trump
the
couldn't
coals.
do anything without being just ripped apart. But the thing is, he also would go up there and answer for every single one of the things.
Well, that's the thing is, so when there was a disaster, okay, and he showed up, the things that they were fucking just railing on him for was, did you see the way he threw that napkin in? And again, I'm like, this dude is asleep at the fucking thing. He's comparing their pain to a little house fire he had where he almost lost his Corvette, right? You're shitting me.
Yeah.
Right? The thing where they're like, did you see the way that he fed those koi fish? Like, yeah, but the guy right next to him just did the same thing. It's not going to kill the fish, man. And that's where I'm like, you guys have so much to be ashamed for because your job is to break the story. And if the story is that there's corruption in the highest branch of government, then you report on it. And if you're not actually reporting on it, then you aren't worth shit. You're a propagandist. You're a propaganda network. And fuck you. You should be torn down as quickly as possible.
Well, ideally, yeah, that would be nice. But when...
Disgusting.
What... Like, for me, it would be like, well, somebody's got to just come out and say it because they know this stuff and they're going to have their integrity and go do it. But then you're literally only going to be if Fox News decides to take you because you're going to be blackballed out of everything else. Now you're having to decide between your life or telling the story, which I know journalists have done numerous times throughout the centuries. Like, that's part of the job. So,
yeah.
And there are some that can do it, and then there are some that are going to choose their world, and I get that, but it's shocking that there weren't more that, would make their career by being the guy that is just like, hey, we literally were told not to speak on this. We were instead supposed to ask him about this ice cream cone.
Well, yeah, again, the same, there is no version of this where if I go back 4 years, there is no version of this where if Trump just constantly walked away from questions, just didn't fucking answer them,
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
You think that would be okay?
No, not a chance. And now, like, the journalists are getting kicked out of they're like having
they cleared the credentials
Yeah,
of 300
yeah.
journalists to kick one guy out.
It's ridiculous. It's laughable.
And journalists should be going ham on that.
Yeah.
Right?
'Cause they're
Just
your
as
own.
the last of your brothers, right?
It's crazy
It
to
pisses me off.
watch.
It pisses me off, Will. It's one of those things that is hard for me, like, as a powerless person, to just sit there and watch and again, there's nothing I can do about it. So I have to then take that and then channel it through my filter of like, well, I can't do shit. Stop getting upset. Go do something else. Go lift weights. Whatever it is. Don't let that don't let that get you to the point where you're like, you're down on the country. You're down on yourself. Whatever. It's like,
You're
can't
throwing stuff at the screen.
No, because there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's all right. Well, so I just have to let this slide and just all right, fuck it. Because yeah, otherwise you just become the bitterness turns you into something else.
Yeah, I honestly don't watch too much anymore. I just try and poke in every now and then, make sure I didn't miss something cool and exciting. And the stories just really aren't that exciting. Like,
Well, they are. They're huge, but they're
but
lost.
it's so yeah.
You're like,
they're like they'd be exciting if like both sides were going at it, like and saying, yeah, there's potentially this, but if he did it for
yeah,
this reason and this and if they're calling each other names and getting into debates and going over all this kind of stuff, sure. But when one side just plays dumb the entire time and then it doesn't exist, and the other side just has to keep making it grander and grander,
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
just like, all right, I know what you're gonna say. I
I
know
know
what you're gonna say. That's whatever.
You're gonna say it's the biggest deal ever. You're gonna say it's no big deal. Flip it around the other way. It's the biggest deal ever. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
Right.
or they won't discuss what this means to each other. Like if you're a Democrat and this is going on and that's your guy, you kind of got to be like, wait, what?
This is where I'm at. Well, this is you know me. I identify as a classic liberal here. It's like you guys have ransacked this party. Like again, well, this is the same shit. Is you saw this the other day where they actually published and they said, actually, ivermectin's been safe. It's been safe. It's actually very effective at treating this. Here are the results, right? So much to the point where they're now prescribing this, right?
Right.
Now, again, you just talking about this on Twitter 2 years ago, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're a doctor, you're banned, right? And that's not how science or free speech was supposed to work, right?
I have a question. I don't know how it was back then, but like when like the Nixon stuff went down,
Oh,
because he's Republican, right?
yeah.
Like were the Republicans talking and being like, this is bad for our guy, dude. Like, what do we do? Like, this is a crisis. We acknowledge that this is a crisis, or did they just play dumb and just be like, I don't know what's going on. There's nothing going on here. Just look the other way. There's an old lady crossing the street.
Well, okay, so my knowledge of that, all it stems around the event itself.
Okay.
And to my understanding, and I'll happily be corrected on this, is I believe this happened so quickly, right?
Oh.
That
Okay.
there's basically like it's
What about when Clinton was going through all this stuff?
what about it?
Little Monica Lewinsky and things like that. Were Democrats just pretending like nothing was happening, or
Yes.
were
Yes.
so? This is just what always happens.
So the what happened here was you hit a cycle of diminishing and basically whataboutism, right? So during the Clinton scandal, if you want to call it that, right? Because there's this and you can ask people say this to this day. The question is they'll get back to the root of the problem, which was, all right, so you said this actually happened, you lied, right? You committed perjury, right? Now, that's where the famous quote of, depends on what your definition of is, right? Okay, it's the same shit as before. Remember, this was 1991 or whatever. This is like, well, I smoked marijuana, but I didn't inhale, right? It was the same kind of nonsense, right? Which was a scandal and a half at the time. Now it's like, who the fuck
Or right
cares?
now, everyone would be like, "You don't smoke? Okay."
Or you haven't tried it, right? That was the thing, and so at the time, basically the arguments were this: is you have the Republican side saying like, well, it doesn't matter what the crime was, you lied about it, right? That's what you're guilty of, right? Whereas the other side was, what's the big deal?
Well, if it's no big deal, then why'd you lie?
That's the point, right? That's where you saw it as like, well, a man's private life is his private life. Well, okay, gotcha. Okay,
You're
well,
also the president.
you're still the president, and this is still a position of authority, and this is something that's a problem. And later on down the road, after your wife has been essentially silencing these many women, and making them disappear and totally denying their allegations.
She was in charge of it?
Dude, she'd been
wow.
doing this since he was the governor of Arkansas. Had been making these women essentially just like totally discredit them. And then, of course, in 2015, she's like, well, I'm the champion of women. It's like, were you? Were you? Because you weren't. And the media let her skate on that. Because, again, if that would have happened in the reverse, they would have crucified her on it,
Oh, true, true.
right?
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. And again, it's not. This is nothing new. Okay, this is. I would ask you this, right? Take the Hunter Biden situation. Now we're going to put this in sports terms, right?
Okay, I like sports.
What would be the analogous? What would be the scandal level of that on a sports level?
Oh boy.
What would this equate to? Would this be basically bigger than like Deflategate? What would be?
That's kind of what I was thinking, like some sort of super cheating kind of thing. But even Deflategate wasn't. I mean, I think more, and it didn't get as much pub, but like Belichick watching the practice films.
The Spygate thing.
Yeah, that I think is more than Deflategate. But yeah, that's like strictly breaking.
Okay, and the thing that still gets me to this day is why did the NFL destroy the tapes?
Why don't you guys me? I'm not a. I have no earthly idea because they don't. Well, probably because they know how much is backed by betting. And if you let it know that there's possibility of cheating going on, you are seriously hurting everything that goes on with that.
No shit.
That's the whole thing with, you don't bet on the games, you don't do anything like that.
Whoa.
Because if you throw out the integrity of what can happen, you're throwing off the balance of power for all that. And football is the betting key.
Wait, okay, so I know this is a totally random thing for you to know. If you don't, you don't. What kind of dollars? What is like the gross amount of money that's bet officially? And I'm not talking about like me versus you, $50 on the Packers. What is the estimate that they say?
I think on the Super Bowl alone, it was like 2.2 billion.
Okay, so that's one game.
One game.
Okay.
And that's not counting fantasy stuff.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And that's gambling too. So I mean, yeah, it's crazy how much money is being bet out there with.
Well, that's what I was like. How big of an industry is the betting?
That's massive.
Is it as big as football itself?
It's with football, betting is tied to it more than anything. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's plenty of people that don't bet, but it has always been known to be massive. I mean, you would have your weekly talk shows would always have a segment on the spread, the lines for the game. Every week. I mean, and that was before it was legal to bet. You had to know the guy down the street to go place your bet, and they're still having shows about it because they know it's just going on. Now it's legal.
Shit, Disney's gonna get on it.
It's everywhere, dude. Like, it is just monster.
But that's the marriage they're making with Disney and ESPN.
Supposedly, they're going to be able to do it here in the casinos here, too, coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to have sports books in there.
Dude, sportsbook's fun.
I've only done one Sunday, football Sunday in Vegas.
It's fun.
I loved it.
It's fun.
It was cool, and I bet against the Broncos the only time in my life.
Who were they playing?
It was led by Tim Tebow, and they played the Lions.
Did they win that game?
They got destroyed.
I was about to ask, like, were they playing the Steelers?
They got it was one of the worst games of Tebow's life. And
one of many.
I made bank off that game while wearing a Broncos jersey. And then I kept getting people telling me, go Tebow. And I'd be like, Tebow sucks. And they'd be like, wait, what? You're the Bronco. I'm like, Tebow's not a quarterback. He's terrible. And
well,
like,
that's the thing, yeah.
And on all the guys, it would just throw off so many people in Vegas. Because everyone, that Tebow mania thing was just God.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, see, that's a fun thing that came and went.
Oh, no, it was not fun. It was so horrible. The games were so miserable to watch. It was,
You can't tell me that Steelers game wasn't nuts.
Well, that was nuts. That was It was so nuts that the Steelers basically didn't even cover the receiver. They're like, you can't complete a 5-yard pass. And he completed a 5-yard pass that got turned into 80 yards for the winning touchdown.
Right.
It was ridiculous. They blitzed 9 people. It was insane. Like, unless it's the goal line, I've never seen that many people coming at once. It was insane. But then you saw what happens when you play a coach that says, all right, I'll just scheme this. And the Patriots thumped them like 47-2.
Dismantled
like
the next game.
Oh, man. I was so scared we were going to keep Tebow for years.
Well,
But the one man that could dethrone Tebow Mania came to town.
Belichick.
No. The next year we got Peyton.
Right. Oh, okay. I thought you were.
Quarterback possible that could have taken that hype and love that everyone here had for Tebow.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the playoffs with him. You can't get rid of him. We're this. I'm like, we're terrible. We need to get Peyton. We got Peyton. I was like, bye, Tebow.
Well, because it's like we got to the place. Like, but we could have won. We could have gone somewhere in the playoffs. Because they went to the Super Bowl that year and lost. Yeah.
The first year with Peyton?
Well, that's when they got whooped by Seattle, right?
No, that was his second year. So the first year they lost. I don't know if that was the year they lost to Baltimore, or if it was the year after, or the year after the Seattle. But they didn't make it to the Super Bowl the first year. They made it to a second and fourth.
It was second and fourth.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Because all right. This is rough because to me these are all Super Bowls that should be like super recent, but they're not now.
It's been a while. We've been bad. Really bad.
No. I would still. Yeah. You got to be fair. Like at this point, like if you were supposed to make a list of basically elite franchises in the NFL, you'd have to include the Broncos.
Yeah, but we're also the worst team in NFL history following a Super Bowl win. Like for cumulative wins, as you keep adding years, it's like Bronco.
What year?
It's like after the first year they went like they won 7 games, I think, and then they went down to like 3, and this is like following. So you're a Super Bowl champion, and you went down to that many wins.
Are you talking about like 2000?
No, not 2000. After the last Super Bowl win, 2016.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
So following being a champion, like the Broncos aren't the worst team ever following being a champion after the first year. But as soon as you throw in that second year, and then every year on, like we have the lowest wins of a Super Bowl winning team. Cumulative.
Okay.
In history.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Usually, yeah, you might fall, but then you pick yourself back up or you do some things, but yeah, we just dropped like a stone. Maybe I'm wrong about every year, but I know like it was after that second year for sure, the third year too. And then I think we got up to like 7 wins, so maybe we squeaked back up, but then we.
Well, okay. Now that being said, all right. So let's be fair on this here too. So yeah, if you're talking about 2016, right? It's not that long afterwards that it's tough when you're basically in that division with
that guy.
Yeah.
With Kermit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that is something that is kind of difficult because I mean if we're gonna go back to like the Patriots dynasty, you have 3 teams that only have successful seasons once every.
Yeah, they have to
3
rise
years.
way up.
Every now and then Buffalo looks good. Every now and then Miami looks good.
And they wouldn't be enough to dethrone them.
No. No, especially with.
I think the Jets did once. Did they? With Sanchez?
I don't think it was Sanchez. I think it was Chad Pennington.
I don't think he. Or Matt Leinart?
No way. Liner? No, I
No,
think
he
it
was.
was.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think it was Butt Fumble guy that won the title the one year, the division title or the not division
Was it? Well, the conference.
conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, conference.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe
It was somebody, but yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was
it could
Pennington.
have been.
I feel like it was, and I only say that because like that's the last time I remember them actually really taking the Jets seriously, like where they were saying they had a chance.
Rex Ryan had that one good year
Yeah.
with Butt Fumble, and then the next year was the Butt Fumble, and they
And that was all she
imploded,
wrote.
and that was
Yep.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And they kept saying, I mean, that was the whole strategy for many years. Like we're building a Patriot beating team. Like, well, number one, you're not doing that. Number two, all right, if you do that, then what happens to you versus the rest of the league? Because you're amping up to beat one team.
They're like, yeah, but we really want to do that.
I get it. I get it. Look, I'm not going to fight the strategy because you're like, well, if we can't take the conference, if we, then what are we going to do? But yeah, that's the thing is the balance of power in the AFC West is firmly in one team's hands right now.
It is. It's annoying. Their best defensive player is going to hold out, though. So,
Who?
Chris Jones. I think it's Chris
What,
Jones.
just for money?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Fantastic. Glad to
I
hear
just
it.
get his name wrong.
It's their best defensive player,
Yeah.
Will. That's their problem.
I think that's his name. I don't know. He's their big guy on the inside that demolishes our team. And if he says he's going to hold out the first 8 games. That means the Broncos will get 2 games with that.
Why would you? But that's the thing. If you're going to hold out, why would you announce how many games you're going to do it?
Because if you don't play half a season, you don't get a contract year for it. So you have to play at least 9 games or be active for 9 games. So you can hold out the first 8, make his point, come back, pretend to have injuries at that point if you really want to. But you have to be made active and a participant to get that year of your contract knocked off and to get another year of service credited with the NFL.
Okay.
So if you hold out past that, you're blowing it. Like you just lose all money. You're done.
Has anybody done that?
Le'Veon Bell. And then he
Oh,
sucked.
Wow.
When he
Yeah,
came back.
right.
He was garbage.
Did Bobby Humphrey do that?
Ooh. I don't know if he held out a whole year.
But he held out.
He
yeah.
held out. I don't know if he did a whole year, but he was garbage when he came back.
Yeah. Because it was the Sammy Winder show very shortly afterwards.
Sammy Winder. What? Oh,
He was fine.
no.
He was better than nothing.
That's quite a statement there. Yes, we chose not to go with 10 guys.
You want to talk about like people be like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. So this is true minutia about the what? That would be what the 19.
Dan Reeves is gonna go no huddle, 5 spread, 5 wide.
Yeah.
I think he'd have a heart attack the first play. That guy was all run the ball.
I was gonna say this would be what 1990. 1990?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, somewhere around there, 91, something like that. 'Cause, yeah, he was a rookie, 89.
I feel like he was he a rookie the same year as Barry Sanders?
If he was, no, I think it's 90. So I think
Because
it was
there's no
the year,
way he's in the class.
yeah,
so.
he wasn't right. So he was 90. So he probably held out like 92.
So okay, well,
And
so
Jenny would have been there pretty soon.
I imagine. Okay, so 89 they would have gotten whooped by the
49.
49ers, and was he playing that game?
Bobby Humphrey?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think he was in. Because I distinctly remember a Donruss card that was orange, and I don't think Donruss was around in 88.
Oh, in football?
Yeah. I don't think. I think Donruss came in '89, the same year that all the crazy hype was going with all the cards.
Well, because that means that Bobby Humphrey would have been in the running back class of Barry Sanders and Christian Okoye.
Well, Emmett Smith.
And if it was Emmitt Smith 89?
Yeah, he was in the.
No, Aikman was 90. That's right.
So
So
Aikman was '89. So yeah, Emmett must have been.
okay, so the other way around. It was a flip.
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, he was in the '90. Yeah, '90 score. Yeah,
Okay.
because he was in. I think the supplemental packs. Because he didn't actually have a card yet. I don't think he was taken. I wonder where he was drafted. I don't know.
It's a good question. But I definitely know that in 89
Aikman
those
was
were the
'89. Yeah, was
Yeah.
the crazy score cards.
because okay,
It
so
was Dion,
oh yeah.
Barry.
Christian Okoye was big at the time too.
He's big. I don't think he was a rookie that year though. I think he was there before. Aikman.
I thought they came in at the same year.
I don't think so. I think he was earlier. I think he was like '87 or '88.
Okay, and then all right, so those weren't the big quarterbacks.
Derek Thomas was.
Okay.
There was a few others there. There were some mega cards that I have no idea what's going to do.
Jack shit. Maybe that Barry Sanders card is probably still worth something.
I think mine is a fake.
What?
I think it is. Because I went back to the store because I sold it to buy some more packs. And then I realized my mistake and I went and bought one from the store. And I think it's a fake.
What evidence do you have that it's a fake?
It's kind of got a scratch down it. I think it's
Well, so it's got a defect, but it's not necessarily a
I
fake.
think it's a fake. I just have a bad feeling. I always had it, but I didn't want to ever say it. This is the first time I've ever said it.
Come on, they were not.
They did. They were faking Barry Sanders cards a ton.
Back then.
Yeah. It was the thing. It was the card. It was it. I think I got a fake. I've had this hunch for since 90, 91.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it really look that?
I think it's a fake. I don't think it feels exactly the same as the other cards. I think it's a fake. But I'm gonna keep it. I don't care.
Send it. Well, send it in to be graded.
I don't want my dream to. that's like.
Well, first and foremost, okay, I'll permit you to do this this one time. All right. I just want you to look right now, and I want you to look and tell me. Just take a look and see if it's actually that valuable at this point.
What an 89 Barry Sanders.
89 score,
Score.
Barry Sanders rookie card.
He's telling me to look it up on my phone, people.
This is the
I
one
don't know
time I'll
what's
permit
going
it.
on. Maybe Pat's not here to snap fingers for touching the phone.
Well, remember, it's not usually him that's doing that. I'm usually the one that says don't look that up. But in this case, what I want to know here is if this is a fake, if this is actually a card that's worth a shit, worth being concerned about whether it's counterfeit or not.
eBay has really. It's saying that it has one as low as $24.
See, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, if it
It
is
has it some as high as like 150.
okay, so there's a range on it. That's probably going to be condition. It's probably going to be is it buy it now? Is it
Right.
so it's in the range. It's not like that.
Okay. Amazon is selling it in Extreme Mint for 150,
So best case scenario, $150.
and it's got a scratch down it. So ain't no way.
Oh, that one has a scratch on it.
Mine.
Oh, yeah.
Mine. No, this one's got the grading and all that stuff.
See, if you were in doubt, just get that.
But it's got a. I'm not doing that now.
Because you didn't draw it. Because you didn't.
Well, no, I bought that one from the.
Yeah.
I just can't remember if it was from Dale's or Ed's. I don't know which one I got the hoax from.
Which one of those guys? Well, okay.
Dale seemed more shady.
I'm gonna say this here. All right. Many people Okay, many people, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I don't know if you heard these rumors as well, okay? There were many people that were happy to express that they thought Dale's Cards and Comics searched their packs.
I could believe it.
Why?
They seemed shady. I mean, they had a nice store, or they still have it. And we've gone there a few years ago.
Did you?
Yeah, went to look at Pokemon cards.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
They had a good store, but it felt like they would be happy to steal from kids.
The guys in there.
Yeah.
Now,
And they would give each other high fives as soon as you left. It just felt.
now, you, I would argue, had a longer relationship with Ed's because of how long you kept your box
Yes.
with them, right? Do they seem like the type that search their packs?
No, they seemed very huggable. Like they were happy with the kids got stuff.
I'm gonna say, because those guys, and on top of that, it seemed like they were a little bit more comics than they were cards,
They were.
right?
But Ed, he was definitely into cards too. And
Ed himself.
Yeah,
Which guy was Ed?
he
The
was
skinny guy?
I think he was the bigger guy.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. But he would actually like you would get the pack of cards, like open it, and he'd want to watch you open it too.
Oh, no shit.
And
Oh,
he's
okay.
just like, oh God, you got that good. Like they just seemed swept up with what was going on, and
Shit,
the excitement
okay.
of it.
Yeah.
But I would also, like, I sat there and watched him open up a box, and he'd be like, and it's crazy when the guys that work there do it, because they're like barely even looking at the cards. They're just like,
Oh, yeah.
just
yeah.
going through so fast, and then just dropping ones that are the good ones. But you could see the excitement as he's flipping through and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it's not just about the money, or maybe it was. I don't know. But.
Well, I mean, you have to imagine that there was a fun aspect of that. Like Pat and I talked about this before too, when it came to like
HeroClix thing that you guys had. On
yeah,
the show?
because we were talking about this. Like, yeah, what did I call it? It was like bullshit, degenerate, gambling. But that's kind of what it is, and that is the fun part. It's like, if I just wanted the individual pieces, I would just go buy those. I would just go online and buy those. But if I didn't get it in a box or a pack, if I didn't draw it, it just didn't seem as fun.
Once I got in the oil field, I started buying them individually.
Look, if you're okay,
It's like, all right, yeah, the pack was still cool. I'd get the mystery boxes, but it's like, no, I want that guy.
no,
I want that
okay.
one.
So, all right. So, if let's say that a new set came out, right? You'd want to buy some of the random boxes just to fill out the set, or be like, well, I don't know what's in it. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, to have had the kind of money like as oil field money and to have been into cards then.
Oh, in '89,
Yeah.
or
Oh man, I would have bought so many things. Talk about an obsolete collection that just takes up space out of it.
dude, if you don't want to be those people that got bankrupted by Beanie Babies or some other shit like this back in the day. I wouldn't have gotten caught up in that anyway, just because I'm like, this is a girl hobby. I know that's completely unfair, but yes, I would still be like, this is a girl hobby.
I don't know why I never got into it. I'm kind of surprised because that is a form of gambling. And I would have been happy to sell some too.
Well, that's it. Okay, so if you're actually trading at the time they're hot, right? That makes perfect sense to me.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? But if the whole purpose is just like to buy and hold,
As your
right.
retirement source.
Well,
Like people were doing. I'm going to retire off this Beanie Baby.
well, okay, so I mean, you know exactly how this works. It's like this has to be something that is in demand and has to have a small print run,
Yep.
right? If it has any kind of large print run, fuck it. It doesn't matter. And even if it has a small print one and nobody cares,
It doesn't matter.
it still doesn't matter. I mean, this is the I'm going to tell this story. I may have told this story, before, but I'm going to tell it again at this point. Is I can tell you at a certain time when it came to like flipping through the comics and things like that, I'm telling you that you could have gotten an Iron Man #1 for $10.
Wouldn't have done it.
No, because I'm like, #1, it's like, this is the old crappy version of this. I'm like, the old stupid metal suit. I'm like, this is dumb. I don't like this character. People forget that the Avengers were the second-class citizens of the Marvel Universe for such a long time. They jumbled that lineup with so many people to try and make it stick.
Oh, when they had like an Avengers Assemble cover, it literally had like 150 characters.
Yeah,
on
it's deep. It's looked like a class photo.
Yeah, it was.
It looks like a high school class
ridiculous.
photo. You're like, fucking Brother Voodoo and the Black Knight. And it's like,
It's
fuck
just
this.
every single person of ever pretty much has been an Avenger.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, all right. Well, it's a good thing you guys are selective.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they even gave cards to him. They had like ID cards that made him official Avengers. Like Beast had a card, like with his picture on it that
right.
said he was an Avenger.
In the book, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
You guys issued IDs,
It was so.
but they're so like, you guys are just, like, everybody can walk in and out of the house like, oh, he's an Avenger. It's like,
well, that was the thing. They had to make Beast a member of the Avengers because that was like the one sort of like X-Men. Because at that point it was like,
Wolverine would occasionally too.
but yeah, it was and Spider-Man from time to time. But yeah, that people forget that entire period was, well, if you're not Spider-Man, and if you're not one of the X-Men, nobody gives a fuck. You are like, you're B team at best, but frankly, you guys are C tier.
Yeah. I don't know when, and then I started trying to get it. Then I would read so I was all X-Men. Then I would try and do some Spider-Man, but there was like already 8 titles of Spider-Man.
They had at least 4. When did you try to jump in? When I jumped in, there were 3.
Maybe it was 3 or 4. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I was kind of...
When I jumped in, it was Spider-Man, it was The Amazing Spider-Man, it was Spectacular Spider-Man, and it was Web of Spider-Man. There were 4.
Okay. I think I did after that even. And there were just so many Spider-Man. It's just like... But I also tried to do that with DC. I tried to get into Batman and Flash and things like that. And they had... Batman had like 8 books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to tell a story when you got... Like, are these happening at the same time? How's he... I'm just like, this drives me apart.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. You want to talk about... Man, this is the shit that gets me. Especially, like... So the comics industry has some of the most vocal, like... refuse to accept any kind of, like, wrongdoing. Like, refuse to accept, like, any sort of, like... They will not even admit that the industry is in shambles, right? Because they're like, they can show them the sales numbers and they're like, no, these are great. Well, okay, you say so. You know, and they refuse to accept the possibility that maybe the fans are getting turned off. Because this is the weird thing, is they walk this stupid, dumb line, right, where they're like, well, we have to make these things accessible for the new reader. Well, then why do you have 8 Batman books?
Yes.
Okay. So then they're like, okay, well, then we're catering to the hardcore fans. It's like, well, then why don't you actually write stories that the hardcore fans want to see?
Because, I mean, what kind of kid can buy all this stuff?
At like $4 a piece?
Yeah.
Are you nuts? Yeah, I know.
Like, so if you're going to sell them for that much, then make it for teenagers on. Or have just that one of each kind of Batman Jr. or however you're going to name it. That is for the younger ones, and
Absolutely.
And do all that, and it doesn't have to necessarily tie into everything else that's going on, and do it that way. But good lord, it is. And then when they did the reset in Marvel, whatever, and they scrapped them and named them all sorts of different books, dude, the list of books was like 60 books. And I'm just like, what is going on? That was literally when I was like, nope, I'm done. I can't. I don't know any of the characters in any of the books. Who's going to be in which one? And this is supposed to be some mega crossover event. I can't read all this.
No.
I can't buy all this. I'm a
No,
college
I can't.
student.
Oh, you're talking about then. I thought you were talking about now. I'm like, because Because I remember when they redid like the House of X, Powers of X thing, and they rebooted that sort of with that Jonathan Hickman story. I'm like, I'm in. Like I'm in hook, line, and sinker. And that I was like, the premise that you set up here is so different and interesting and fun. I'd love to see where this goes. And then after the event happened, the list of shit that was out there there were like 14 titles.
Oh,
And I'm like, dude, I'm not even gonna pretend to be interested in half of this stuff. I'm not.
I can't do it. I don't know who I'm supposed to care for. I don't know if I see this character in 5 different books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this stuff going on at the
I don't
same
know.
time?
I have no idea.
Do you guys even know? Like, or do you guys just not even like? Is your whole Marvel department just like, well, I have this book, I have this book. Should we talk to each other?
Talking into it.
Absolutely not.
No.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah. We'll straighten this out. Yeah, it's a mess. And then you're like, all right, well, no worries. Well, then I'll let the movies and the TV shows sort me out. And then yeah, you're like, nobody wants to watch the Marvels. Nobody cares.
I saw a preview at Oppenheimer. It's my first like long preview I saw of it.
I've seen the long, or at least I've seen the preview they're showing. I'm like, this looks like a waste of time. This is like, nobody cares. Nobody likes these characters.
Not one of them.
No.
She's the most hated. Kamala Khan is
It was the least watched.
least watched. And
Photon, Monica Rambeau, was awful.
I don't know what she could be. I have no idea, but it wasn't that exciting in the show. Like when she got her powers, it was like, okay.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is her character in that show was so stupid. They're like, oh, I can relate to you. I'm like, well, she's the bad guy. Like, and you're a bad person for siding with her.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch needed to go to jail.
Like, she's torturing all these people here.
A lot of people. And it was just like, yeah, I get it. Bad day.
I understand. No, and that's fine. As a matter of fact, as a show where you set that up as the ethical problem, that's interesting, right? But then to turn around and they're like, oh, no, she's right. They're like, what do you mean she's right to do this? What do you mean that these guys are wrong? What do you mean that they're like, stop painting them as the villains. They're right.
Oh, yeah.
What are the sword guys? Yeah, I was like, this is so stupid, right?
It was a good first half of the show.
It was
Good first half.
the first half of the show. I was like, what's next?
Yeah.
I really was like, I'm fascinated to see where you go with this.
Then it started getting stretchy. Then you bring the cool Quicksilver and do dumb. Ah, that was so stupid.
Why would you do that?
Oh my god,
Man,
that was so dumb. You did such a cool thing.
people love that guy.
He's
What's
awesome.
his name?
I don't have a clue.
Evan something? I don't remember. Yeah. He was in that Dahmer series, and that was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Evan Peters, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you just made everyone happy by bringing him in.
You're like, are you guys doing it? Are you guys?
Oh,
yeah.
this is exactly what we've been waiting for. And then you make him an actor. I was like, well, now you just destroyed the chance of actually having this happen. You people are just terrible.
Do you have any idea how much hype that would have actually built up in terms of like goodwill? Like, I know when I dipped out, right? But if they'd have done something like that where it's like, all right, well, if you're hinting towards it or you're building towards this or you set that up then, I'm like, yeah, you can get me to go see Shang-Chi or, you know, whatever. Maybe you guys are doing something here.
You're going to throw in a piece here, a piece there.
It's like, this was, and then, oh God, and then the multiverse of madness.
What's
You just wasting.
Doctor Strange? Wasted a whole Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, I was just talking about like, well, so if you're gonna cross it over with the Fantastic Four and, you know, the X-Men, and your bullshit what if universe, I'm like, okay, well,
The Inhumans. which was
Yeah.
like the worst show, I guess. I never even saw
I didn't
it.
even watch it.
But all I've heard,
Nobody did.
all
It's
I've read in the
the
things
case.
is they say this was like the worst show ever made, and you're like, oh, people are gonna want to see him as Black Bolt again. Like, well, half the people that watch this don't even know that he was Black Bolt.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he was they brought the same character.
actor?
Yeah,
Huh.
and I was just like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch. I don't really, I don't know. He just didn't. I don't know. It was bad. So I don't know. Of course, I'm gonna go watch.
I don't know. If they showed me something that was like repentant, it's like,
I finally saw Super Scroll made.
oh, how was that? This
Eh,
is audio, not video. So Will's making this face. Like,
I like a lot of the review stuff that I see on Quora.
yeah.
They really don't like Secret Invasion series.
No, it got beat up pretty badly.
I actually thought it was pretty good.
Well, did you have fun with it?
I actually did.
Okay.
I thought the Super Scroll fight was pretty dumb. Because there was two Super Scrolls.
Did they fight each other?
They did. So, and they each have the exact same powers because they got it differently. I don't know how the Super Scroll got his power. How did he steal it from him
What in the?
in the books? He's not like Mimic or something like that, is he?
No. Okay. So if I remember, and this goes back, man. Shit. I thought.
Either way, here.
Yeah.
Either way,
I'll
he
think.
gets their. Fury's been storing like the Avengers DNA, and he has a vial of it, and somehow they get it, put it in the machine, and it can fuse the scrolls to powers, and so they both have literally the same powers, and this includes like Captain Marvel, like
Wait a minute.
all
Okay. So in canon, in their universe, they have it to make any of their powers.
he's got like all sorts of them. He's got all the main Avengers. He's got like Groot was in there. He's got Captain Marvel, just all sorts of them, and it's just all in a vial. And so he hands it over so that I don't remember what he was trading, but and so they can use this machine, and it infuses the scroll with all the
Does it
powers.
only work with scrolls?
That's all he did it on.
What a horrendously bad idea
And
to introduce into your universe.
well, and then some people are saying, "Oh, this is how they're going to do it, so they can bring back Black Widow and all this stuff, Gamora or however they want. They got the DNA; they can just bring them back."
That is.
I don't know if that's I don't know, but
Well, chances are what they'll do is they'll just forget about it. There's, how many lines have they opened up just to be like, don't think about it?
that's true. So, but yeah, they start fighting, and it's where they use their budget on. But then, they got all the same powers, but then she's just able to blow a hole through him, and it's done. And I'm like, this battle should probably be going on for like forever. You literally made like the two strongest creatures in the Marvel universe right now, and you had them duke it out for a minute.
Did they actually have like flame, stretch, rock?
No, they didn't have Fantastic.
Invisible.
It's only the people that they've seen so far. So that people that Fury's been in contact with and all that stuff. So, it was okay. I was actually intrigued. It looked more. It looked more like what I thought the Black Widow would be. Like it was him doing spy stuff and trying to navigate through secret stuff and all these kind of things,
Yeah.
and then traders
That'd
and
be
people are
interesting, yeah.
scrolls, and so
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff. And so I actually found it kind of interesting. But then they had to amp up the powers to ridiculous levels, and it's like, well, no.
Well, yeah. If you're gonna make a spy show, make a spy show. That's the idea of basically like shape changing aliens that can infiltrate any branch of any government or whatever. should be an interesting enough a premise on its own where you don't have to do basically a doomsday mechanic.
It was
right?
good. Like, War Machine being a Skrull. Like,
That's interesting.
when did this happen? How long? Wait,
Right.
what? Was he this in Endgame? Like, Jude, okay. Like, and then, like, it was about saving the president's life, starting a war, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, this is fine. I get it's not as epic as Secret Invasion was in the books, but I'm cool with it. And then, then the Super Skrull thing. And now she's part of the universe now with everything else that's out there that I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't have a clue what all these internals that are still walking around are going to do.
Isn't there supposed to be like a hand still just sticking out of the earth?
Yeah. And who cares? It's weird. I get it.
No, all right. So it's not. So I was having a problem with this the other day, right? Where I was thinking of specifically the Incredibles, right? And I was thinking of the ending of that movie where they reveal that they have superpowers, and I'm just remembering the end of that movie where little boy Dash slows down to let the other racers catch up, and then he still wins the race, right?
But just a little bit.
And I realized how much that would piss me off.
If you watch that happen as like the parent?
Or if I was participating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I realized how much that would piss me off, where they're like, well, they're presenting this as a good thing. I'm like, no, actually, this is far more insulting. This is, like, you don't belong in this race. And I know that the whole thing is like, well, they're doing it so that he feels good. Okay, got it. Because he's a character in your story. But have you thought about the other people who...
But did they know that Dash was a superhero?
The kids?
Yeah.
Well, they came out after that. That was the whole point, was... Their powers came out of hiding because they saved the city.
But they were still wearing their costumes. So they didn't know it was Dash. So he was still pretending.
Dude, he smokes them at like that would be like YouTube speed. You'd be like, this isn't real, right?
But that's why they were doing that premise.
That's some old bullshit.
So
right
he
there.
was supposed to win just by a little, so that it looks like he's still fast enough, but
that's
not.
even worse. That's even worse.
But he's not supposed to be known as the Flash kind of thing.
That's even worse because he still takes that. He still does that to win the race.
Yeah, you're right. He probably should just take third or something.
He should just not participate.
Yeah, but kids are going to see him run around faster than most people. Why don't you race?
Because it's not fair.
I get
And it bothered me. Yeah, I'm sitting there walking my dog, and
you know what? That incredible movie.
yeah, talking to no one.
This doesn't come up when I'm watching it, but years down the road, strolling around in the middle of the night. Wait a minute, that jerk. And that whole family, they were cheering him on. They're all jerks.
Well, I think I've made this point to you before. I don't really get to pick when the memories come in and what my interpretation is, all right? If it's 3 o'clock this morning, I'm about to go to sleep, I'm going to sit there and say, like, did I have Ms. Miller for my teacher in 3rd grade or 4th grade? No, because I had Ms. Murray in 5th grade. I had Ms. Westermo in 4th grade. I had Ms. Fawcett, who was new that year, in 6th grade, right? I don't get to pick when these things come, but when they come, they're gonna happen.
I have the memory of
You have the memory of fucking goldfish, man.
the song that went like my gal's a porker, she's a New Yorker.
What?
Hot dog, that's where my money goes. Do you remember that at all? It was a song we had to sing for choir.
I wasn't in choir with
Oh,
you. What?
she's got a pair of legs like 2 whiskey kegs. Hot dog, that's where my money goes.
You sang this for choir? Was this? They taught you this,
They
or
taught us
you as the
this.
kids?
No, this was straight up a song with lyrics
Was
that
it
we
my girl's a what?
My gal's a porker, she's a New Yorker. And
Hot dog is where my money goes.
hot dog, that's where my money goes. I have no idea what the actual song is called, but that's the That's the chorus of it. Um, yeah, just the other day, it just popped in my head, and I was like, wow. Oh, yeah, that's really wow. There's no way they would let kids sing this song today. Oh my god, this is like
This is offensive.
this is so bad. And I mean, and it was a very fat gal. Like there was a cover piece on it, like a little piece of artwork, and she
Oh,
is
like
just,
on the little songbook?
yeah.
Or, oh, okay, okay.
And she was, yeah, she's just going to town eating all the stuff. I'm like, oh my god, there's no way you could even pretend to teach
No,
this song.
it would be like in the realm of something like super racist, like
Yeah.
it would be like because I know that there were like little like rhymes that you'd say about different like
Oh,
races and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
That feels
yeah.
like that's how that would come across these days.
And there was, I mean, it went top to bottom of her how big she was, and everything was rhyming. I can't remember all the rest of them.
Well, the audience laughed at the time, I presume.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
It's just a
yeah. Then you got a whole bunch of kids singing it.
it's just an absurd premise that you're poking fun
I
at.
don't know if there was a fat gal in the choir. That was probably like,
Well,
what the hell?
the worst thing. Okay, so there's this picture that's going around, and you've probably seen it. It's this guy, and he's really chubby, right? And it's a black and white photo, and it's like this man was in the circus in 1931 as the world's fattest man, right? And if you just look at it right now, it's like, well, that's just a dude, right? So I mean, there's a different perspective. Like this is the thing is just, I know like what my weight was back in the day, and I know that they were like, well, you need to lose weight, right? But here's the thing: they wouldn't even look twice at me now, if I was a kid at that size, right? Because there would be kids that like, no, he's the problem. She's the problem. It's.
I don't see that as much in like. I'll have to pay attention more as kids get older.
Well, do
But-
also remember that we still, believe it or not, live
Are
in
the
the
fittest,
fittest
yeah.
state in the union.
I know there's a couple bigger kids, but yeah, here at least through junior high, there's a couple bigger ones, but nothing crazy. I don't think I've seen.
I saw them in high school too, high school and middle school. Yeah. But I will also say that we don't live in Texas or Mississippi
That is true.
or Kentucky or any of these. Basically, I mean, this is it's the South. The South really pulls our average down, down, down.
Where Crisco is still used regularly.
I can't blame. Well, I don't think it's Crisco. I think it's that shit right there.
Mountain Dew?
Not by name,
Oh,
but
just sodas.
I think sodas, sweet drinks, and
I had one of the guys from work send me a picture of hot dogs that are green that have been infused with Mountain Dew.
get the fuck out of here.
The Mountain Dew package and everything. And I had to do searches. Half of them were saying this is real, and half were saying this is fake. And then finally I found like the YouTube, like it was on national, or it was on one of the news stations.
Okay.
And they're like, so there's Mountain Dew infused hot dogs. And you see the news lady just like cringe in horror.
Was this something they were doing for like a local fair or something like that? Or
Somebody photoshopped it in its spread.
Okay.
But finally,
Okay.
I found them say, "Okay, this is fake." But then they're like, "But now that they've seen this, people are boiling them in Mountain Dew and getting it." And I'm like, "Oh no!"
Dude, well, it wouldn't surprise me for a second to see that being done at like a state fair or something, because they come up with all sorts of
yeah.
weird shit, and you're like, well, this is not a national thing. They're not selling this at, whatever.
Yeah,
your
they had it at the
Aldi or
grocery
whatever.
store, and the guy holding it, and it had the package, and it would have like the Mountain Dew, what it was named. They had a code red version of it, like, and I was just like, no, And I mean, they were sick colored green, like gross. Like I'm like, no, man,
Like
no
that
one's
bad
gonna
olive green.
really bad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you just leave your hot dogs in the fridge too long,
Yeah.
it's gonna turn colors. Yeah, it might have turned that color, and I was like, no, no one's buying this. There's no way. There's just no way. I love Mountain Dew. There ain't no chance I'm buying a hot dog that looks like that.
I think I may have said this to you, or I may have said this to Pat. I actually tried the Kit Kat cereal.
I heard you on the show, and
bad.
it tasted nothing.
It's
like
no,
Kit Kat.
it's what a waste. What a waste.
Yeah, there was all sorts of gimmicky cereals now.
I
I don't
wouldn't
know how
shop-
many
yeah.
of them last. They sure are throwing out. There's like different kind. I'm like, where are you even putting these? Like, there's so many cereals. I'm like, how are you fitting these in your cereal aisle? Because they're like all on the sides.
Oh, on the fat ends. And
Yeah,
everything
and
like
so
that.
I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
wait, none of these can last because you already got your staples like in there. You're not taking down the Frosted Flakes and being like, all right, we're shoving in the Kit Kats here, like, or the icy drink ones, or
There's icy drink ones.
yeah, the ices. Yeah, I saw that, and then whatever movie is out, and it's got these shaped ones, and I'm like, all right, none of this stuff is gonna last because none of those ever get moved.
Well, okay, so what I always see in there is I always see like permutations of the perennials. So like if you go to buy tricks, they also have ones that are minis that are these tiny little dots. Those are fine. They're okay. They're the same thing but smaller. Same thing with like those cinnamon toast crunch things. They've got different versions. They have a million different types of Cheerios. All right, that's fine. That's the same shit as before.
Yeah.
And then you get over to that. You get over to that where the boxes get smaller and twice as expensive area.
Oh, your healthy ones. I actually at Walmart, they're on the other side.
Well, like they're
This is the aisle
they're
of
too
junk,
good to be associated with.
and they're over there. Like they start mingling with the fruit bars and granola bars. and
Tell
all
me
that
they're
stuff.
not next to side by side with Pop Tarts. That would be a travesty.
Oh, how does it go? Yeah, Pop Tarts. Man, I think it's Pop Tarts, and then it goes into the fruit bars things, and then the healthy cereals.
Pop Tart. Oh god, Pop Tarts. They must be the worst thing for you in the breakfast aisle.
They can't be the worst.
Just pound for pound, like how little you get out of them for how calorie dense they are, right? I think they have to be the worst thing in there for you.
I have.
When's the last time you had an actual Pop Tart?
Livy likes them, so.
Your kids are amazing. Well, your kids
are my kids,
yeah, your kids are
so they can. I think
they're
William.
like idle at 6,000 RPMs.
I think William can gain some weight. I think he's got a little roundness to him right
Shut up.
now. Yeah,
He does not.
and since I don't think he's gonna have another growth spurt until he's 17, I think he might get a little weight on him.
Unless it's a ton, he's going to stretch it out just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he has a growth spurt for a while. So
You think he's done?
no, I didn't hit my growth spurt until I was like 17, 18. I was 5'2", like freshman year of high school.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I was the third shortest person on the football team.
You were 5'2"?
Yeah. And what, 98 pounds?
Well,
80 pounds? I don't know.
well, I have a hard time explaining that, like, to other people. Like, I don't have, like, I still got one student left. She asks about, like, my family sometimes. Like, you wouldn't recognize me against them. Our biologies are so ridiculously different.
How? I don't know. Yeah.
I was like, my mother claims to be above 100 pounds. I don't believe her.
She is. I saw the scale.
Was she clothed?
Yes.
Was she wearing those 6-pound shoes?
All right, maybe. So I think she weighed in at like 112. So yeah, I guess I could.
No way. No. Okay. Now keep in mind, I weigh myself nothing but with a dry towel, right? like I'm weighing in for a fight. So yeah, there's no way that she at her base is.
They made her get rid of her purse, at least. That's definitely like 6 pounds.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's no way. There's no possible way.
So yeah, that's about how much I weighed in high school. And then going from high school to college, I took my clothes up to college, and it was still summer. So finally started cooling down. I put on long pants, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Like, are they coming up to your knees?
They went to like almost the middle of my shins.
Holy shit.
I was like, "What? When did? How? What?" And that's when I grew. I went from that short to damn near 6 feet in like a summer.
That's incredible.
I have no idea how, but yeah. By the time I got to college, I was taller and everything, and
Wow.
so I think William's done, and then maybe
And then
senior year in
sometime
high school, he's gonna
just gonna
whoop.
stretch, and then he's gonna be like, he just has to get on his tippy toes to dunk the ball.
I don't know if he'll shoot that high. He's a little bit behind my curve right now, so maybe he's got another inch or two in him before he hits a spurt.
That's crazy. How's the world's nicest dog doing over at your place?
She's good. The cat's there, and so they get to.
They're
play
just the
whole
best of
time,
buddies,
and-
aren't they, huh?
Every once in a while, it looks like he's using, or she's using him as a chew toy. She's got her whole mouth like around the cat's whole body. But she doesn't like chomp or anything, but she definitely looks like she could pick him up and just like be like, okay, you need to go over here.
She just moves her?
She hasn't, but it looks like she's ready to. But the cat will just come up and start like thwopping her in the head too. So they both have their fun and all that stuff.
That's so cute.
So they're getting along. It's good to see.
I love that. I love that they get along so well. That's
And the cat's weird. So the cat has hops, like cats do.
oh yeah.
So I was worried about our guinea pig. So
No, before you do that, have you had any allergy problems, or are you
I've just been taking an allergy pill every day.
good?
And
Okay.
so far, so good.
All right.
So the fence that we have in the house to protect the guinea pig from Winnie
Yeah.
is only about 3 feet tall, and I'm like, the cat's gonna clear this. So I go downstairs, grab one of our folding mats out that's like 5 feet
Yeah.
tall, and I
Yeah.
stand it up and make a wall. So like the cat comes in, starts looking around, in like a minute, cat's like, huh. Stares at it, and then just jumps and tries to climb it and go over, and I'm like, ah!
Did it clear it?
Well, we got right to the top, and so I had to pull the thing out, and the cat fell to the floor. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'll go close up, Rosie's cage.
Yeah.
The cat won't jump over the 3-foot fence. Like, I don't know, the cat can see through the bars, see through it. Just will not jump the fence.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Well, I can't.
I'm like, you literally jumped twice as high to try and climb over the thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This entire week, the cat has not jumped into that room.
I don't understand.
I have no idea. I don't.
Does the cat show interest in Rosie, or?
The cat has looked in there, stared in there, saw Rosie move at some points and stared, looked at it, looked up at the top of the fence, and just won't go over.
Like, do you see the little butt waggling like it's gonna?
He's hunched down a couple times, and then just gets up and walks off. I'm like, huh.
And this is not a
Huh.
I'm gonna come back for you later sort of.
This has
walk-off
been a
way.
week straight and has not gone over. I'm blown away. It's just like, this makes no sense to me, but so be it.
You know what's cool, Will? That you don't have any birds in your house anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I hated those birds or anything. In fact, I thought they were like kind of cool, but they're just not my kind of pets.
They're no, I'm happy to see them outside in nature.
That's where they belong.
Go up to the zoo, have them fly around a little aviary.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was. I guess if I didn't mind birds, just but even then they're
Yeah, that's what
like,
I'm talking
they're
about. Yeah.
loud. But the poop thing was what
I could not believe when you told me
that
that.
was
That was unreal.
But it's probably all my fault because I can't stand just leaving animals pinned in a little cage.
Well, I would ask you this. At this point, is there any appeal that you would have at this point to owning fish?
Um, Not really.
Why?
'Cause you don't do anything with them. But I
Exactly.
mean, some of them are pretty, and you could have like a pretty cool looking fish tank. Like they make some
Absolutely.
pretty
Yeah.
exotic looking ones.
And I would argue at that point you're doing that for the tank. For
Yeah,
your,
the art piece,
yeah.
and then just you got some fish in there with it too, and all that kind of stuff. So I could see it for that, but just to tap the glass,
Or just look at it.
yeah.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. Maybe if I had a library and I did a lot of reading, I could see fish as being something.
In your house? I don't even do that here.
Well,
That's quiet as a tomb.
I'm gonna have to retire first before I ever have
When-
that much. But then I'm gonna watch TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you watch like I picture your retirement as you're retired, you move the TV or you put a TV in your workshop, and that's when you're doing like your woodwork and you watch TV, and during commercials you go out there and do some scroll work, and then
There'll definitely be a lot of that. I'll have to figure that out if I'm doing woodwork with the TV. I think all that dust probably would.
I feel like at that point I think there's going to be a solution for
They
it.
probably. I don't know.
Where it's just some kind of like piece of plastic you put on the wall and
Yeah. I'm definitely ready to retire.
you had enough, huh?
Oh.
Where's this coming from?
I've always been ready to retire. Like ever since COVID happened. And seeing that kind of life, oh, that was amazing.
The COVID preview.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like so COVID was like the you remember back in the cable days they'd be like so this is the HBO free preview for a week. Yeah, and COVID's kind of like that. It's like, oh man, so that's what it's like?
And if you wanted to keep HBO, you had to pay every month.
Yeah.
If I had millions of dollars, I could pay to
I'm out.
have retirement.
Yep. I'm out. Yeah, just okay. Well, if we can just buy me out right now, that'd be great.
I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Love it, but so be it. So
Yeah.
and it's not even like my job's that hard.
Well, what is it about that is it just the being there that is it the hours? What is it? Because in other circumstances, like because look, we did rig work. You're doing something very, very similar in nature without having to rig cables.
Yes, but every day I had the hope that something would break and I'd get a bonus day. That was totally paid for. And I didn't have to do anything. Legit not have to do anything.
So when you're saying
That-
something would break, not your equipment, not our stuff.
I mean, not as long as one here and there.
Oh yeah.
It's bound to happen. But, yeah. Oh, that was, or casing to get stuck or something.
See, that's the thing. Yeah,
That's
the casing to get stuck. You don't want to be in like, fuck, we got a sidetrack. You don't want to.
even sidetrack was fine because that's time drilling, man. You're gonna take forever doing that sidetrack. Like that's
It
a whole
sucks.
shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, I was totally fine with that because I was just gonna watch that's as close to free.
I don't even
too.
remember how to do it. I did it twice, but I don't even remember how to do it.
Oh yeah, they do like I think it's like 5 minutes for 1 inch for an hour, and then like 5 minutes for 2 inches for another hour. Like it was. So you might get one survey in your shift.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can totally. Oh, I'm good. Now up here in Colorado, it was different. The soil was so soft that they could just literally point and just go. So the sidetrack didn't take nearly as long. But North Dakota, that was an entire day for your first 80 feet or whatever.
Well, like, okay, so that's that's just like two stands, man. It's so like,
awesome.
well, okay, now and again, this is I wasn't there for that because I think it might have gone faster, by the time I made it. But still, the fact that I was trained in Colorado and then went to North Dakota, like, wow, because those guys would put it down in what, like 13 minutes, 15 minutes?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? And we're looking at a minimum of like 45.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck? Because when you broke it down for me, it's like, all right, so here's after you do this. So as soon as this comes in, do this, send this here. They're going to get the corrections, put the corrections in, do this. And if you do all that perfectly, you'll have about 5 minutes between, right? I'm like, okay, no problem. And you set up the screen the right way. So it's click here, this. You have your own little setup, run the macro, blah, 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 right?
Yep.
Those come back in. I get to fucking North Dakota. I'm like, what happened?
What are we doing? Why are we drilling so slow? What do you mean? We're at record time.
Yeah, we're kicking ass.
Ugh. Like, and then they'd be complaining. Oh, we got corrections.
Oh, those guys.
Survey in an hour.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to do it live. Those guys would put them in at the end of the day. And you know what happened when they did that? They'd fuck it up.
Because, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course they'd fuck it up.
And then you got to go back through and look through them all.
And then somebody says, like, what's your bottom line? And like this. And it's like,
yeah, let's start here.
no.
Did these guys do it at all during the day? Obviously not.
They did not.
This happened at 6:04. So they're off the whole day, and they did not care.
No, they did not. Yeah, I don't. See, that's the thing is like at this point, is that just the only part of your job that's different that you miss? Is that like
The
something?
bonus days.
That's the only thing.
Oh yeah, I love those bonus days.
All I would do is sleep.
That's fine. I would love that. Not that I could sleep the whole time, but I would love to take a nap. And then go do some stuff and take a nap. Do some stuff. And have the company pay for it.
Well, okay, well, at least, the later on part where... So if I got a bonus day, but I was still with my dog, so it was like, that was fun times anyway. And, Will, you're not going to believe this. I got her to sort of play fetch at the park last night.
Whoa. Did you ever light a ball?
Well, this is the thing is, so...
You had a dead rabbit.
No.
It's awesome.
No, so, like, okay, so one of the things they've changed at the school now is they fenced off.
Oh, I'm sure there was so much stuff back there.
Well, okay, so, yeah, there is that. So they fenced off, so that you can't just walk through into those fields. You still can on the front side where we would come in, right? When we'd walk to school and you'd come up that path, they still have that.
Do they have it so it can, like, roll shut and they can lock it?
So what they've done now is, you remember how, okay, this had to be in your time. I don't know if it was always like this, but I feel like at some point while we were there, they started enacting a strict policy where it was K through 3 has to be on this side, and then 4 through 6 was on the other side.
That's why I had to write a whole bunch on the chalkboard.
Explain.
I thought that rule was stupid. So I would get my buddies, and we'd go over to where the good jungle gym is.
Yeah.
And eventually,
okay, that one. Yeah.
For the first and second graders. And so the teacher would eventually be like, "Where are my kids? There's a bunch of them missing." Actually, I think the first time they noticed was when we didn't come in at the end of the recess. Like, where are they? And then it was, okay, you guys are not allowed to go over there. Yes, got it. Next day, over there, some would be the same people that some would be like, nah, I don't want to get in trouble. So eventually, I was doing it a bunch, and so I got told to stop it like 10 times, and finally, well, I think it was third grade that I wasn't allowed to go. Like
That's what I'm saying. Is
I think it was third,
I don't remember if it was something that was always like that or something they instituted
but I think third grade you couldn't go all the way down to that.
to the other side.
Yeah. And finally she came out and she was pissed. And she grabbed all of us and she said, me specifically, she said, I've had to tell you every single day. And so she had whichever one of us she'd tell. I think Paul was one of them and stuff like that, but they'd be like, okay, you, right, I will not play on that jungle gym 20 times. You, 50 times. You, 50 times. You, and she pointed at me, on the chalkboard 500 times. So I was literally doing, well, Bart writes it all out as the whole line.
Yeah.
I was doing I, and so I had to do that for my recess. And so that kind of ended the playground.
All right. So now what they've done at this part is if you go around the place, that basically what the first, second, and third grade side, there's a fence now that separates. It goes across, right? And each of the areas has a gate.
Okay.
And they're padlocked shut. Right? So I can't take her in that area. And those gaps where you'd walk in, fenced off.
Well, I think they had to with school shootings.
They only did that about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, God.
Yeah, those have been there, right? Those have been there, right? So the first, dude, remember, I go up there at night, and the thing's just always there. So I'm going to take her inside and let her, run around a little bit, and they just like, block, right? The hell's this? Go around to the other side, because you can see where the gaps were. There's just fence in between now. It's just locked in. So we can't go in that side. So I go around to the other side, and you can still get to the grass. That's all completely open.
Okay.
Right? So I've been trying to get her to, because I want to be able to get her to come whenever I say come. So I take a pocket full of treats, and as I walk with her, I just say, "Can Sasha come?" Right? She'll come. Like, she knows. Fuck off. She's like, I don't know, waste my time with you. So I just want that to be able to break whatever thought she's having and come here, right? So I do that every walk, and I'm like, all right, can I let you off this leash? And so after like running, she goes and checks because the fences are there now. She runs to the fences. She's like, I can't get to those trash cans anymore. So then she comes to me, and I have got this pocket full of goodies. I walk over to the grass. I'm like, dog, you don't look like you're done. Go stretch your legs. And she's like, well, now I got these goodies. So I'm like, well, go get it. And I act like I throw a treat out there into the grass. I'm like, go find it. Right? You have a good nose. Go find it. She goes, looks around. She's bewildered. She's like, oh, I have to. What'd you do? And she comes back to me. She comes running back to me. I'm like, wait, that's what I want. Okay, so yeah, good job. She's like, want to do it again? I'm like, yeah. So I just pretend to throw something out there, and she'd go putter around and then come back, and I'd give her another treat. I'm like, this is fetch, but it's not. So I ordered a glow-in-the-dark ball. She does play fetch, a version of fetch in the house. It's like, all right, next time I will go up there with cheese. I'm going to throw this glow-in-the-dark ball. You're going to bring it back to me. You'll get cheese every time that you do this. Like, can I actually play a real game of fetch with this dog who has turned her nose up at every play opportunity? She's just like, I'm not that kind of dog. Well, I got her a little sandbox. Not interested. She went, like, again, I saw her, like, when I take her for walks, she'd see little spots. She'd just start, like, digging. I'm like, you like digging, huh? Let me make you a little sandbox. Went in there, put her foot in it, moved it around a little bit. Like, wow. Like, I love you so much, but you have You just have the weirdest personality. Like, you are so openly defiant. Like, I love you for that because I had the most compliant dog on the planet not too long ago, and I know that you also have. Well, your dog's kind of taken like a bad attitude now, right?
She's gotten better, actually.
Has she?
She's starting to listen more. She's been staying around me more. So she's gotten better. And then like the other day I got home. Even if I just get home and I'm just like unloading groceries, I like to let her out so that she can just walk around, see the yard. And so I pull out my groceries, but I have the back of my car open. Go inside, and I go in and I tell Nikki, I'm like, I think I have to go to the dog park. She's like, why? I'm like, she won't get out. I'm like, there's no way. Because I left my back door open. She went in. It's like 90 degrees out. And I'm inside putting away groceries. I'm like, she's just going to be in the back of my car. And I go out. Her head's just sitting on the top of the chair in the back. Just staring. She's being like, let's go. Let's go. I'm not moving. I go, come on, let's go. And she's like, no. We're going. So I went back inside, did some more things, came back out. She's just sitting there.
Are you serious?
Staring at me. Like, you open this. It's
right.
Dog park time.
Right.
Let's go. And she absolutely loves that. She loves just getting to do like watching her cover that whole dog park into full sprint. It's cool to watch. Like she's
so fast too.
She goes. And so yeah, I just let her wander around out there, and then she'll just decide she might follow another dog, and then she'll see me way out there, and she'll just boom, and it's cool to watch her go. And so yeah, it's fun. So.
Well, the other thing too is having that cat around must really alleviate things like during the day, right?
Yeah.
Like, she must love having a little partner to bop around with.
Well, and Nikki, if she ever left the cat alone, the cat would terrorize her house. Like, go up on tables, just throw stuff off. Like, she's got the little Keurigs, and she'd take out each one of the little cups, and just toss them out. She'd get up onto everything. Like, just she's like, I never know what my house was gonna look like. And now the two of them together, they're like, she might push a little thing here and there, but all in all, like nothing.
So it's clearly a boredom thing. It's clearly,
yeah. So
God, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's been.
You must have. A good team. Yeah, I was gonna say you must have there's this. You must believe in like some kind of like the universe, right? Some kind of whatever it is that's putting the right cat with the right dog.
Oh, I just believe everything is supposed to work out.
Yeah.
Like remember when Winnie and Kansasha got in a fight, and I looked at Kansasha, and I was like, "You need to stop this," and you're like, "Don't put your face right in front of her." I'm like, "Oh, she's not gonna do anything." Like I'm just like, "Nah, she's good."
Well, I mean, you know, for some people, like she knows you.
You know, and that's why I could look her right in the eye and just be like, "Hey, this is not gonna work."
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm always like, "Yeah, it's gonna work out." Now I don't know if I have the guts yet to leave Rosie's cage all the way open.
The risks are so high. I'm like, go ahead, but
I want them to get along and everybody to be happy. And I think Rosie's a little sad that I closed the door now.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's your life. So I'm like, you'll deal with it. It's fine.
It would be, well, if it were a different kind of small rodent, I would understand. And I don't mean that like breed, but personality. But she seems so...
Yeah, I think eventually we're probably going to move her into the basement. And
I think that makes perfect sense.
And then we can leave it open.
Because that is going to be the kids' room, yeah?
Yeah.
And you've started laying that out,
A little bit. Yeah, we haven't got everything set up, or we don't even have all the stuff yet, so... But yeah, that'll be the plan.
Are you planning on getting new stuff for down there, or just consolidating the crap that you have?
mainly a lot of consolidating, but I might get them because I can't put our sleeper sofa down there.
All because of the
The
angle.
yes, the ridiculous way they built this house. So I'm probably gonna have to sell that one, and then I might get a different one that'll fit down there.
Which one's the sleeper sofa?
The blue one in the room with Rosie.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's too long, so it won't fit. William was so excited, William and Livy, when I told them this idea. They helped me try to move it. Like they were taking out pillows, they were taking off the cushion, so I actually got to clean under there. They had accumulated a lot of junk. I mean, you remember our sleeper bed?
Yeah.
There was no, unless you went inside there,
Yeah.
you're not cleaning that. And yeah, once we got it lifted, there was so much stuff.
Oh, Will.
Oh, I knew it was there too, because I'd always, whenever we took it out, you'd lift the back and you're just like, oh, that's another day.
Well,
Goodbye. That's a someday project.
Okay, so in case you've noticed there, I have like 20 balls.
Yes.
Right? Because, trying different ones and seeing which ones that she likes. But also the other thing is when you're throwing them upstairs and she's taking them downstairs and that kind of thing, especially with that thing in the corner, you're going to get them under the couch and you're going to get them behind that corner. And you don't want to get it every single time that it goes over. So I got plenty. When I have to move it, I'll get them all and then just throw them all down. So, I went to that couch. So, I know there's 5 balls in it, right? Move that couch. And it's not as though it's there's not, kid stuff. But, of course, it's summertime. And so there's just a graveyard of moths.
Oh, wow.
Because these are the ones that, I shot. Right, and so,
they went to their final resting.
Because they'd like to, they'd set up over there on that stupid screen those ugly, those god awful ugly curtains that I have, and they just stand out against the white thing. It's like it's your ass. So I'd shoot them, and I'm like, okay, whatever, right, and they all went under that couch to die.
Wow.
I'm like, dog, we have to pause to fetch you for just a little bit because I have to vacuum up
a cemetery.
A mass grave.
Oh my gosh.
All right, that's enough here. Actually, there is one other thing I wanted to ask you about.
Okay, fire away.
Because I caught a little bit of grief for this. All right. So if you were going to imitate Nikki's voice, right? Now, I don't mean this in a mean or rude way, right? But let's say that, for example, you were making fun of her, like it was just kind of like she nagged you about something, right? If you were going to do that, what kind of voice would you use? Would it be accurate to how she sounds, or would it be this kind of?
It's just a slightly higher pitch.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay. And that's what I caught grief for every day, the other day, because it's a Russian, right, Marina, so there was something that she did and I didn't like it, so I was just kind of like right, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what's the problem? She's like, my husband does that exact same voice, and I was like, well, every man does that voice.
Unless you have a distinct characteristic.
Oh yeah, if she's
Southern or something where it's got the specific words that tie into a common phrase, then yeah. But otherwise, yeah, you just raise the voice.
That's what I said. It was like, well, and every woman that makes fun of a guy has the same dumb voice they make, but they usually have to say your name first. They have to say, oh, I'm Jeff. Oh, okay. Well, I don't worry about these. I'm paying my bills on time. Or whatever it is that she's ragging on you for, right? They usually have to put their name first. So that's
Yeah,
universal,
fair.
correct?
Yeah, that sounds pretty universal.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
You
So-
had me nervous there for a second. I was like, oh.
No,
what
that's
Well, I was like, what kind of voice does Nikki have? Wait a minute. What are we mocking here?
Well, yeah, and
Oh, wait a minute.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like if Nikki was like super Mexican or something, you might do like
Oh,
the
yeah,
accent.
yeah. You definitely would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
But for the other guys, it's just that high,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blah blah blah. Go do this, go do that. You forgot my birthday. I'll never forgive you.
Yes. That's spot on.
I said, like, if I make fun of my mom, I would do the exact same thing, and she didn't have that voice at all.
You've thrown in the accent sometimes.
That's different. All right, this is me and my brother.
Yeah,
All right.
well.
I'm Jeffrey. All right, have a good night, guys.
He's clicking the button.
All right.